Off. Hey everyone, this is Ken Rakowski, Sandy Grigsby, and you are hanging out with us for the next hour as we talk about what it takes to have a great relationship with yourself and with others. This is a complete interactive hour, so we want you to chime in, join in, just be part of the entire conversation. This is an open hour, meaning share the link with others so they can be part of what the conversation is too. And this is, again, about relationships, yourself and with others. Today, I wanted to do something different because most people, you got to see Sandy in my Instagram streams. You need to understand what she does. She is one of the top personal branding experts on the planet and one of the top portrait photographers, not just portrait, but what?
Personal branding lifestyle shots.
She's got it all down, right? And some of the biggest names in the world come to Sandy to be photographed. They come from around the planet, actually. She has figured a way to do virtual photo sessions, which blow my mind. So it's as if you're in front of her $10,000 camera and you could be on the other side of the planet and get the same results. But that's a different conversation that was all around pivoting. But today we're going to talk about finding your own personal brand.
Yes.
Explain what that means.
That means finding a look and a message that matches who you are authentically. So we could do different kinds of personal brands. People have what they consider their persona. So they turn on when they want to be a certain way in front of the camera. And it used to work. It used to work really, really well. But then you see the dynamic crash and burn that happens when people start to line up their life traumas or their tragedies or things that don't match with the messages that they were originally sending because they weren't being truly who they are. And I'm not going to name names, but it's currently happening in public now to some famous people who said one thing and now their lives are crashing and burning and now they have contradiction. So I always recommend be authentically you. So what does that look like? Now, to clarify the difference between a personal brand and personal branding is your personal brand is what people find out about you. So if they go and Google you, they look you up, they talk to other people, it's the information they gather. Personal branding is the work that you put into creating that narrative. So I always recommend create a narrative that's authentic to you. So finding what that means. To begin, you want to really—
She's on a roll, by the way. Here she goes.
You want to look inside you. Who are you? How would you best describe yourself? So Ken, how would you describe yourself?
Edgy, technical, relationships, touchy-feely, and somewhat comfortable. Like you want to be comfortable around you.
Yes.
Okay, did I hit it?
Pretty close.
What would you say since you've already done
No,
this
that's
one?
not the next question. The next question is, how would your friends describe you?
Knowledgeable, highly involved, a connecting individual, someone who could connect, and no BS.
That's about right.
Yeah.
So what you have to do is you have to take what you would describe yourself as, and then what other people would describe you as from your words. And then the third element is actually asking those other people what they think about you. How would they describe you? Now, we're not asking for negative things. So if they think you're a pain in the ass, that's not what we're looking for. On your best day, how would they describe you? So it would be nice to ask, like, so for me, very compassionate,
Yes.
caring. And this is how I think I would describe you.
Oh, me?
Yeah, I would
I thought you were
describe
talking about you. Okay.
No, not myself. You. Compassionate, caring, mindful of others, very analytical in the sense of facts and information. You want to be targeted and correct with the information that you gather and how you present it.
Right.
Very, very strong in terms of how you lead other people.
So this is what other people are saying about me.
Yes, that's how I would describe you.
So where is my brand then? Is it the cross section of all those?
Yes. So that's what we're going for. We want to take all of those little elements and see where they line up and which ones come across as most valuable. So from what we talked about, I say in your sense, I think caring is really good for you because you are incredibly caring. You're a leader. You are very creative in the sense of bringing information and presenting it, and you are a super connector. So I think all of those go really well for you. So if we're going to create a look for your brand, we want to make sure that whatever we develop matches what that is.
See what Lewis said.
Yes. Energetic, a good dude. But yeah, exactly. That's awesome.
Okay, but this is, again, these are just words.
Yes, these are
How do you
just
now
words.
take these words and turn them into that persona that is your personal brand? So you can use that personal brand on social platforms, when you market yourself, even when you got your wing person next to you, how they can market you to go meet somebody that you would want to have a relationship with. So we want to go through some exercises, and it'd be great if you go through them with us so you can see this direction that Sandy takes when she sits down with a client. And by the way, when she sits down with a client, this is one of many exercises she goes through with them, because what it does is it makes them realize that either they're not living in who they are, which requires them to almost throw out everything that they thought they were and then focus on what they are. And it allows them to live in this entity that's actually more natural.
Yes.
Right? Do you agree?
And that's really important.
Mhm.
We want to be the best versions of who we are, but it's hard to do that when you're pretending to be someone that you're not. And a lot of us have to put faces on for our businesses. Like we have to be the tough person at work, or we have to be really creative all the time because we're in the entertainment industry, and it might not be who we actually are. I'm not saying we're not creative or we're not tough, but that might not be the bulk of who we are as people.
Okay.
So for me, I went through this process actually with Greg Logan to sum up.
Metal guy, Greg Logan.
Yes, he's amazing. He does narrative. And to sum up my own personal brand in new words that I hadn't defined. And it came out as, because he uses Hollywood glam, I am an animated musical.
Yeah, you are.
I'm totally an animated musical.
Yes.
But I hadn't thought of that on my own because I hadn't done the process that he put me through. And when I did it, I was like, oh my gosh, that beautifully sums up who I am. So now when I'm creating my brand, I can make sure to incorporate that animation, that playfulness that I have in my personality into my brand. Now, why is this important? When people are looking to work with you, you want them to feel like they know you, and their expectations can be easily met. So if someone meets me and in my picture I look super serious and I'm always doing the Insta poses, trying to be like a supermodel or something, which by the way I used to do because that's what I thought was important, it just didn't work and they don't connect with me. And then when they meet me, they're like, oh, you're not at all what we expected. So I always say, try to be what they're going to expect. So since I am bubbly and outgoing, it's really important that my brand represents that. So I'm going to start with showing you guys.
By the way, I just want to specify, there's certain people, and it's ironic that Bill Ryan is on the call with us. Bill, you worked with Steve Jobs. You worked with Steve Jobs when he was at Apple and at Pixar. He was his brand, but he did it because of functionality, right?
Functionality, yeah.
Right? The black, the jeans, that was just Steve's.
Yeah, that was, yeah. And that was a brand that transcended his job. So by that, I mean, he dressed that way at Apple. He dressed that way at Pixar. That's the way I always saw him. So, if I saw him at an event, that was, that's his look. And if you watch the, if you watch the Apple developer conference yesterday, you saw Tim and everybody, they all dress basically to that standard,
They did.
So that brand, he moved, that brand then got generalized across an
But in
entire
theory,
company.
by the way, that was Apple's brand. It is Apple, the simplicity with complexity underneath it.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, and also it's like, we're not corporate. It also says, I'm not a corporate guy.
Good point. Biggest company in the world, $1.5 trillion, not corporate. They have the epitome of what corporation is now, but in a cool way. All right, so Bill, I'm happy you're here. You're gonna have some fun going through this. So Sandy, where do we start? What are you gonna show us today?
Well, I'm gonna show you, I'm gonna start with how my brand looks.
Okay.
Because that makes it really easy to understand it.
Okay.
So.
Can you share your screen? Oh, let me give you access to sharing your screen. You have, let's see, allow co-host. You're a co-host now. Go for it.
Let's see.
Don't unmute yourself.
It's like too many things going on here. Okay.
All right, here we go, guys. So look at now. You'll see Sandy. She's going to show us. What are you going to show us? Your brands?
Yeah, I'm going to show you my mood board and then a couple of other ones. Let's see here.
There you go. Share. Right there. Mood board. This is pretty cool, actually. When she does this with other people, she makes them go through this process.
Okay, so this is how my mood board looked when I did my presentation for Metal back in, when was that, February?
Yeah.
And this was based off of the mood board that I did a few, like maybe 2 years ago. And so what I did was I went into Pinterest and I pinned things that spoke to me. So images that when I saw them, I went, oh, I love this. Oh, I love this. This is exactly like perfect. And then I pulled them all together. And then what you'll notice is there is commonality in all of these. So lots of white. There's this soft pink that you see flowing throughout. There's always some sort of gray. And this is just in colors. I'm just going over colors.
And by the way,
White,
these
gray.
are hundreds of pictures she's actually pinning to come to this conclusion of these photos. So this is not something where you focus and think, ooh, do I like this? Do I not like this? Why do I like this? No, you just say, yep, I feel I have a good feeling, and hit it. And at the very top of your notes, those are your color patterns.
Yeah, so what I did was I sampled these colors based on the consistency that I saw through my selections. So why this is important. I'm gonna stop my share for just a second. This is important because when I did this about almost 2 years ago, I was just doing this to test it out to see if this is going to work for me because I needed to create a look for my brand. I had already been doing it for my clients, but I needed to make sure that it worked for myself. And then 2 years later, which is now, I'm coming into the point where I had to redesign my messaging and redesign my brand, which is why I did the work with Greg Logan. And so I went, you know what, let's see if the method that I had done in the past still applies and if it works and if it's consistent. So I went back onto Pinterest and I pinned entirely new pins and I sampled them, and I'm going to show you what the result looks like. But this just tells me that my method of doing this works so beautifully and it's going to work for you as well. So this is what the end result looks like. Let's see if it'll let me pull both of them up. Let's see here. So, okay, so you'll see this is what the new mood board looks like. And I'm going to zoom in here. Oops. Full screen of this. Okay. So you're probably thinking, well, it looks almost the same. It does look almost the same. So my colors are almost identical to the original board. And you can see from the images, the difference here is not so much the color, because the color is the same. The difference is I focused more on the energy that I wanted to express in my board. So for me, I wanted to have more playfulness, hence the girl with the bubble gum. I wanted to have a certain look, like little white hats, which I wear, little French berets. I love blowy dresses. I love big hats. I love food. I love shirts that have a certain look, high collars, open backs, plunging necklines. Laughing and joy. And then this one to incorporate my animal, because I have a bird, it just represents that I want an image with my bird. So I was able to capture in this updated board a different vibration because I was more intentional with what I was looking for to market myself and my brand, but I was the same and consistent with my colors. So it was really nice to know what it would be like. So now I'll give you guys a quick preview of what that actually resulted in. So I'm still in the process of building out this website right now, but at least you can get an idea of what this looks like. Yeah, so let me share the screen. So.
Again, because she figured out what her brand is, her personal brand, designing a website now can flow through all those things you saw on that mood board.
Right. So here, I'm still in the process of deciding if this is going to be the final, but you can still tell the colors, I got them from my mood board.
Joking around.
The animated face here and here, same thing from my mood board. Here, even if you watch the video on the top, it transitions through playfulness where I'm dancing and I'm behaving the way that I normally work with my clients, right? It goes into a color scheme. Here's the story of my personal branding and how I went from not being very clear on colors, on style, on look. I mean, you can see in 2014, I tried to be super sexy. It so wasn't me. It looked so weird. And I only started to figure it out in 2016, and 17 and 18 is when I really nailed it. And I was able to identify and establish a specific look for my brand. But that developed in, so here you can see, like this is part of the playfulness in my brand and like the questions that I come up for my quiz. It all ties into my personality. Because if you work with me, this is the kind of stuff that I say and do to make it so people can really understand what it feels like to connect with me. And the end result of being so intentional with this, so here's like that look with the blowy dress and the confidence and the playfulness and the fun. The intentional nature of this is that I collect diehard fans. So some of the biggest things I get from when people look at my website is I obsess over it. I look at every single page. I look at all of your content. I look at all of your Instagram photos. I stalk you. And when I get those clients, they stick with me for a very, very long time. So this is what the new website looks like. I'll quickly show you what the website that's still up that was done.
And there's a reason why, again,
like.
we're trying to show you where that brand, your personal brand, really comes into play, because it's going to help you define yourself in a digital environment a lot easier.
Exactly. So this is what the original mood board ended up with. So it created this kind of look, which I wasn't as intentional with my message, but it was still effective in getting people to obsess because they felt connected to me, because I still had that smiley, playful energy that was going through my brand. But as you can see, I wasn't as hyper-focused. So now it's all about getting hyper-focused and intentional to truly connect with my audience.
All right, a lot there, okay?
Yeah, it was a lot.
So what we want you to do is this. In order for you to start discovering, well, I wonder if people even know what they are, like even come close. So we do this exercise, a very simple exercise, and that is, what is your favorite animal? You know, what is your favorite animal? If you could do us a favor right now inside the chat, put your favorite animal down inside the chat. Just pop it in there. Your favorite animal is right inside the chat. Come on, here we go. A dragon.
Ooh, saber-toothed tiger. I love that.
Wow.
Dragon, koala bear. Oh,
A
cute.
pelican?
Ooh, I've never heard of a pelican before.
Okay, someone's saying a pelican. You know what a pelican is. A lion, elephant. Okay, so let's go to John Sutton.
These are nice.
Let's go to John Sutton. John, we're going to unmute you wherever you are. Where is John? So John, unmute yourself, and let's talk about a pelican real quick. So you are unmuted, John. Come on. Come on, John. There you are.
Unmute?
John.
Okay. Hey.
Hey, buddy. So
Hey.
Hi.
give us 3 adjectives that describe a pelican.
A pelican, an adjective. It loves to soar.
Okay.
It does it effortlessly. You never really see it flapping its wings. It just goes.
So soaring effortlessly. And what's another adjective?
It's loves to eat.
Voracious.
Loves to fish. Fishing.
I want him to do it, Alan. He loves to what? No.
Fishing.
So you're saying hungry.
Hungry. Yeah.
Hungry. Just want to make sure we
Hungry.
define that. What are your 3 words again?
Hungry, majestic, and
Effortless.
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 Remember those. Remember those. Who else do you want to pick?
Let's go to Alex K.
Alex.
Octopus.
Alex K. Alex, you're unmuted. Alex.
Hey.
Barbara. Let's hear
Pelican.
your 3 adjectives that describe an octopus.
Smart, quick, and unpredictable.
Okay.
I love that.
So I want you to, all of you, understand the animal you pick. So in a very weird, simple way, you've defined yourself. You've defined, and it's exactly what you are, John. You are exactly those 3 words. Alex, you are those 3 words.
Interesting.
You have to replace yourself with something else that you look at to help you define yourself in a strange way.
Mhm.
So the process that Sandy's going to go through is she's going to help you not look directly at yourself.
Yes. And like I said, it's about connecting with others. So when they see pictures of you, they find you on social media, if you're in videos or whatnot, they feel connected to you right away. And that builds trust. Because when someone sees you in a certain way and then they meet you and you match that expectation, they instantly trust you because that's what they expected. There's a likability and a trust
You're
there.
in your own skin.
Exactly. And they don't feel like you're misleading them or misconstruing something. As I mentioned, there are people right now who are promoting themselves as something, and then it comes out in public that they're not that. Well, they just lose a big chunk of their audience, and their audience can't trust them anymore. So it's best to just be the authentic version of you. And some people go, well, I'm really nerdy, or I'm really weird, or I don't know if people are going to like the real me. You would be surprised of how many people seek out someone like themselves.
Okay.
So I'm super bubbly, and like in some ways I'm a bit crazy. And my audience loves that because they go, oh, I'm totally weird and kind of nerdy like you. And I feel like I can connect with you because I'm the same way. And I grow diehard fans because of it. So don't be afraid of your quirkiness or your nerdiness or even your uptightedness. I think I made that word up.
You did? I like it. So what are some steps now to start moving us in the direction to help us define ourselves?
So to begin, the best thing to do is to go on Pinterest.
You know, guys never go on Pinterest.
You know what's so funny? All my guys that have done Pinterest, the majority of them complained about it. And they're like, ugh, I don't want to use Pinterest. Isn't that for girls? It sucks. I don't even know it. And in the end, they're like, this was an amazing journey. I found so much out about myself that I didn't know. And I'm really excited with what I can do now. And I want to go and change my whole entire look. And I'm going to cut my hair. I'm going to get new clothes. And they get super excited about it. And the end result is, wow, maintaining this look is so much easier than I ever thought.
So could we kind of do that? Can you set up a Pinterest? And can we step through something?
Yeah, and actually I'm going to show you one of your fellow Metal members' Pinterest boards. I'll show you what he created. Actually, I'm going to show Stephen Harms.
Oh, Stephen.
Because Stephen
He's going through the process right now, actually.
He's going through the process, and we're going to get him a haircut soon, and he's going to have his whole new branding photo session. It's going to be exciting.
But people understand you are not doing this to where you're thinking about yourself. You're just thinking what inherently you like, what connects with you. That's the idea. So this is what Stephen did. So Stephen's project, and we had to set a time parameter on this, was just go on Pinterest and just start liking, they call it pinning, things you like. That's it. That's all you do. And then from there, you can see the commonalities that come out of that. So Stephen went through this, by the way, people don't know who Stephen is. He works for the Los Angeles Opera. He's an opera singer. That's what he is. He's an amazing guy. He does a class every Wednesday, I think, in the Metal Lounge, all around to help you find your internal voice. So you want to share it now?
Yes, I'm going to share it right now.
This is his Pinterest board.
And so to begin, Stephen did not want to do this.
No,
I can't even emphasize. It took him 2 months to pin his first pin. He was so resistant. And once he did it, he went wild. And now we've created this amazing look for him. So let's see here. Okay, so this is the board that Stephen Harms created in Pinterest. And I told him, pin things that speak to you. Don't think too hard about it. So he's notorious for dressing kind of like Steve Jobs, black t-shirt and jeans. And I was like, don't think about black t-shirts and jeans when you look for stuff to pin. I want you to just look for stuff. And when you see it, you go, oh, I like that. Don't think too hard about it. But like, I really like, that's awesome.
By the way, I just want to see what Gil says.
Yeah, Gil loves Pinterest. Yeah, exactly. So when Stephen went through here, I said, I really want you to focus on attire because he needs a whole new wardrobe because all he has is black and jeans. So he went through and he just started pinning things he liked. Shoes, hats, all kinds of stuff. And as he went through, it started getting more and more specific without realizing it. But I could see what he was doing. So as you'll see here, there's a repetition in color. So just so you guys know, I pin these haircuts for him because I want to get him a new look. But he started pinning, you'll see here, this burgundy, and you'll see the pins showing up multiple times, which I think it's so wonderful when I see pins showing up multiple times. That means he really loved it because it was in his subconscious and he saw it again and he forgot he pinned it and pinned it again. So if I see things pinned a few times, that's really great. So you'll see he pins a lot of blue and a lot of forest green. The look that he's pinning is slightly a little bit, what is the word that I'm thinking of? You know, where it's a little bit like the movie, not Westworld, but, oh God, I can't think of that. Like it's a little bit technical sci-fi, but still kind of like vintage inspired.
Okay.
So he has kind of that whole look. And then he has some casual stuff, like he's picking some interesting necklines, some really interesting textures, right? So, and then,
show us what this turns into.
Yeah, so this board ended up, let me switch to my share, ended up looking like this one.
So this is what it turned out to be after all that.
So as you can see, I'm gonna zoom in here.
Up to the top of the colors.
The colors, there's that kind of burgundy, and then he has this kind of softer grayish green, and then it goes into light gray. He has a lot of navy blue. He's a lot of forest green, and then he has black. And you'll see that it consistently shows up again and again. It shows up in the shoes, it shows up in the jackets, in the textures, in the colors.
But when I see Steven, I could see him in all this.
Absolutely.
Yeah, this is naturally him.
This is so Steven. So in here, when I made this board, I said, this is going to be the haircut that we're going to get for you. And then we're going to do a headshot in something basic like this. And it's not something that's so hard and out of reach that he can't obtain these clothing styles. These are all very, very attainable. And when he went through his wardrobe, he actually realized he had a lot of these looks existing already. And it was stuff he never really thought about. And he just had to piece them together and create this unique look. Glenn Jimenez did the same thing. And his end look is just mind-blowing. He looks so put together.
Can you show Glenn and then show a photo shoot after?
Yeah.
You want to do that?
Yeah,
So
for sure.
just, again, the reason why we're showing you all these things is once you inherently know what you're supposed to be wearing and feel comfortable in it, your look actually even starts to change. Your confidence factor starts to change. You fit what you are as opposed to trying to be what you're not. And I've done it for years, by the way. People would give me clothes and shirts and whatever, and I would put it on and go, oh, it's a gift, I better wear it. Not knowing it actually hindered what my personal brand was supposed to be or trying to be. So when Sandy came in my life, the first thing that went away in my life was a pound of clothes, like a ton.
A pound, you mean like a ton of clothes?
Oh my gosh, it was
We filled
insane.
up a dump truck.
So I had to remove the personal connection with my clothes going, oh my God, I got this in 8th grade. It means so much, but oh, I get why it's got to go because I couldn't fall back to what I wasn't because I constantly would do that. All right, so we're going to show you Glenn. You want to show his mood board first?
Yeah, I'm going to show his mood board.
Yeah, I want you to see this. And then Glenn's a great example. Glenn, who's been in metal for a long time, has always been trying to figure out what his personal brand is. He dresses pretty cool, but it was never really consistent. Now Glenn is very consistent with what he's wearing. And matter of fact, when he goes shopping, this is what he gets. And he says it's a lot easier now too. So this is Glenn's mood board.
So this is Glenn's mood board, and you'll see here that he likes things that are
Tight fitting.
very, very tailored looking, but a little edgy, right? So he'll go with some cool shapes, some cool graphics, some funny little pockets and zippers and jewelry and things that just make it a little bit edgy. He also likes yellow and bright colors with some like sci-fi fantasy feeling colors. And this is what his final board turned out to be. These were his colors. So when he was sourcing things for his brand, it doesn't mean he has to wear bright yellow. It just means when he's designing out his final look of his brand, it'll have elements of yellow in it. And then his photos ended up looking like.
Photo shoot was this.
So this is one. And then we went to this kind of look. So here you'll see there's that coat, there's that green, the jewelry. We implemented all of those styles into his actual photo session. Even when we did stuff with his wife, Kristen, same thing. We gave him the texture, we gave him the edginess, there's the colors, it matches his board. Even in their couples shot, there's that burgundy that he loves. And we managed to pull together this beautiful look that absolutely represents who Glenn is. Now, the best part is he goes out in public and it matches and you have a connection with what you see about him. So.
Now, this doesn't have to be an expensive process. Matter of fact, what we're doing with Steven, we told him to go to a secondhand store to go get the clothes because we know what the color palette, or he knows what the color palette is. You know what the tailored, the style is. So it's almost as if now he's got the perfect shopping list. Yeah. Because don't you guys hate it when someone says, oh, let's go buy clothes? It's like, oh, damn it.
What are you going to buy? And Jason Azevedo said the same thing. When I gave him his mood board, he took it with him. And when he went shopping, he stopped looking at everything. He only focused in on things that matched the color and style of his board. So shopping went like, pew, 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 pew. And when he found it, he's like, oh, I found it. I don't need to keep looking. I know this is it because it's exactly what's on my mood board. And then he went through his closet and he found other elements that matched and blended in beautifully. And he got rid of all the rest of the stuff. So he made room in his closet. He made room in his mind to shop and make this easy. He saved money because he wasn't just buying anything hoping it was going to work. And in the end, when he shows up, he looks put together and incredible.
So I want to take, for example, Christopher Cooper. Love Christopher Cooper, okay?
Christopher.
One of the coolest guys in metal. Christopher is retiring in 37 days. Did I get the date right? 37 days, Christopher? Unmute yourself, buddy. Christopher Cooper. There he is. 37 days, right?
Right on.
Right on. 37 days.
Yep.
He is leaving the Los Angeles Fire Department, and he's a hardcore entrepreneur.
Mm-hmm.
throughout his entire career, he's wore uniforms.
Yeah.
And now he's going to
And
have. Go ahead. Go ahead, Christopher. Yes.
Yeah, so now what am I doing? I got my last haircut today for the job. So I told my barber, this is the last time you're going to cut my hair like this. The next time, we're building a whole new look.
I love, and that's exactly right. What
So
you said.
there you go.
You now have the opportunity to create a brand that's authentic and unique to you. A brand that no one else has, something that makes you feel good. When you wake up in the morning and you do your hair, you should be like, my hair looks awesome. Not like, oh God, I've had this for 40 years. What am I gonna do? You should be excited. When you go into your closet, it should be like, oh, I don't know what to wear because everything is so much fun, or so mindless that you're like, I'm gonna put this on and I know I'm gonna walk out looking good because you have it all mapped
So
out.
let's go through steps now. What does Christopher, because he's got a pivotal time now. In a month, in 2 weeks or a week, his life changes.
Yeah.
He is not a fireman anymore.
You can be whatever you want to be. So the best way to start this process is go onto Pinterest if you don't have an
Can
account
we kind of
already.
show this?
Yeah.
You guys want to see
Sure.
this? Want to see how this is
Actually,
done?
I'm going to bring you right through the process.
Let's
Do you
go.
mind being my Pinterest process?
Yeah,
person?
I have a Pinterest account actually.
Do you really?
Excellent. So you're already there.
Okay, let's
Yeah.
open up that. Why don't you open up that Pinterest account, Christopher? Once you get that, all you guys right now, if you can, dive onto Pinterest. Open up another tab in your browser and go to Pinterest. Sign up for an account right now.
And here's what I'm going to do, actually. I'm going to create a Pinterest board for you, Christopher, and then I'm going to start asking you what you like, and we'll pin it. I'll get it started, and then you can finish it to create your new look, all right?
I love this. Remember, guys.
Okay, well, let's proceed. Yeah.
A professional's expensive and amateur's a fortune. You guys are all been amateurs for the longest time. Let's work with the pro and let's set the pace in motion now. Let's do it.
Okay, here we go.
You want to share your screen?
Yeah, share my screen. Let me just create this.
All right, so Sandy now is going inside her own platform. Or you have your own account, basically, right?
Yeah, I have one for my business.
Okay.
So,
Here we go.
oh,
Why isn't that-
I don't
that's
know what
weird.
it's doing. So that,
Why don't you share your screen?
I'm trying to, but it's
main
not
screen.
giving me that option.
The main screen right here. I know.
There it is. Okay.
Okay, here we go.
There we go. Okay, so this is what you're going to do. You're going to create a board. If you want to make it secret, it's up to you. If you want to make it public, not a big deal. Most of my clients, we work in secret boards because they don't want people to know their inner things, I guess. But so what you're going to do is you're going to create your board, and then it automatically gives you ideas. Christopher, for some reason, it thinks you want these cute little stuffed animals, but I'm going to skip that.
Okay.
And we're going to just do a search. So we're going to go up here, and we're going to search. Tell me something that you love. What kind of fashion do you tend to love? Casual, upscale, t-shirts, sweaters, what kind of stuff? Give me an idea.
Casual.
Okay, like
And,
any particular color?
I like casual with dark blues. I like your denim colors.
So let's do men fashion casual. So we're going to do a search. And now
Yeah, I like anything that's functional is always a big hit with me.
okay, perfect. So do you see here anything that catches your eye that you're like, oh, I like that?
Well, on that particular board, you know what's really pulling my eye is that one right by the Bluetooth symbol,
Which
and then
one?
also
Wait, which one? We didn't hear
the
that.
one-
Say it again, Christopher. Which one?
first column on the left.
First column on the left, this one here,
Yeah, a little higher.
this one here.
A couple more higher.
This one?
There's a guy. Well, one more higher than that. One more right there. That's good.
This one, the first one.
Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna click it. Oh, hold on. This is one thing I hate about Pinterest. They do some that are ads, so they trick you. So if you like
Uh-oh.
this, what you would do is you would drop down and you would find your board and you would hit save to that board. So then I'm not going to click that one just because I know for a fact it's an ad, so it's just going to launch something else. Do you see anything else here that you like?
Yeah, I like the one where the guy's getting out of the car. Second, on the right side, second one in from the right.
This one here. Is this one?
Actually, no, that's, you're kind of on a, yeah, right there,
This one.
right there. Yeah, that's good. Yes.
Let's stick it there.
Okay, save. Save to
All right, here we go. So now let me see if I can click this and refresh. There are 2 pins to your board. So what happens is once you pin something, it gives you additional ideas. So you could either click on the image and then scroll down and find other ideas. So let's say you liked this blue sweater and you were going to click it, or I'm sorry, this blue shirt. It would give you more options for other blue shirts or shirts similar. So this
okay,
is,
so it starts searching similar items that are in that same vein.
Exactly. So I wouldn't just say do fashion. You're going to create a whole entire environment. So I would also like pin things, for example, food. Name, what's your favorite food?
My favorite food is fish.
Fish?
What kind of fish? Anything?
Yes.
Any fresh or salt?
Yeah, I like any of the saltwater white fish.
You like white
like
fish, and do you like it cooked a certain way? Do you like it a Hawaiian style? Do you like it a barbecue style?
Yeah, I like it barbecued.
Grilled?
Sometimes I like it smoked also. Smoked
Okay,
fish, smoked salmon. I really like salmon too. I'm going up to Seattle here at the end of the month.
I just put in food photography fish. I love having my clients source professional photos for their boards because the professional photos have a specific stylization that's nice. So now I just did a search for fish. Now don't think about the specific fish that you'd want to eat, but just when you look at these photographs, what here do you think looks really beautiful or good? You're like, ooh, I like that image. Whether you want to eat it or not, you just are attracted to the style of the image.
The fifth one from the top row, the salmon with the lemon and the green beans. Yeah, right there.
This one? Okay, so we're gonna pin that to your board. All right. Is there anything else in this collection of images that you're like, oh, I like the way that looks? Remember, not necessarily to eat, just overall you like the way that the image appears, the aesthetic.
Correct. I would go with the one right in the center right there again.
This one or this one?
Yeah, right there, right there. That's good.
This one?
Yeah, I'll go with that one.
All right, perfect. And just go down a little bit lower. Anything else that catches your eye?
Yeah, the one with the avocado and the red fish. I like that.
This one. No, wait. Which one has avocado?
Yeah, it's overall very, very right extreme. There was looked like a cut of salmon with some avocados sprinkled next to it on the very, very right hand side.
Am I missing it? This?
No, not that one. Go up a little bit more.
This? Oh, okay. It was out of my frame. This one here?
Yeah, I'll do that one. That's right up. No, there it is, right there. That's it.
Perfect. Okay, I just saved that. So lastly, I want to do locations. What would be your favorite kind of vacation spot?
My favorite kind of vacation spot is any of the islands,
Okay.
like Hawaii, Jamaica, Puerto Rico. Yeah, I like the serenity of an island. I know I'm not going anywhere. Nobody's coming in.
I add photography in all of my searches just because it tends to give a higher quality image.
Oh, okay.
See how cool some of these pictures look as opposed to just saying like Jamaica vacation and then you get all the ads. So I add the keyword photography. So when you look at these images, which one draws your eye that you go, oh, I love that?
The person's hanging on the tree. The swing in the middle. See it there?
This one?
Yes.
Perfect. All right. Anything else?
Yeah, white dress, palm trees. Right,
This one?
right side, yeah, right there.
Perfect.
That's good, right?
All right. Anything else? I'm going to scroll down a bit for some other options. Anything else?
You know, I try and avoid those suspension bridges, but I've been on 2 of them in the last year. See that suspension bridge top of the page right now?
This one here?
Yeah, there's a single person on a suspension
that's
bridge. Right there, yeah, that's it.
I'm going to pin it. All right.
Good enough?
Here we go. So that's just a start. So now I'm going to go to your board. Let's see here where it ran off to. Got a bunch of them. There you are. Okay. And I'm going to refresh it again. And this is just how it's starting. So what I would have you do is pin between 100 to 150 unique pins. Once you do that, when I look at your board, I can tell you exactly what your brand colors are and your style. Now, just from this, like few pins here, you already have a very distinct look. Can you see what it is?
Yeah, a little bit.
Can you?
Yeah, I like fish. I like vacation islands, and
And you like getting
it
out of
looks
the
like
car.
yeah, it looks like I'm casual.
Casual, exactly. The look I actually see beyond that is I'm seeing your colors starting to form. So the colors that catch your eye are actually going to be around green, very bright green, yellow, and a kind of a reddish salmon color. You're seeing that that's actually occurring. See, it's in his shoes. It's here, it's here, it's here. It's in her skin tones. It's in her hair. So you're actually subconsciously gravitating towards specific colors when you pick images. So if you did a full board, I'd be able to go, okay, these are exactly what your colors are. You'll see this same stylization. For example, if I go into a Pinterest board
But how about these guys that are doing this? They don't have your eye. How are they going to be able to figure that out?
So what you have to do is you have to look for, gotta find Jason's because his board is hiding from me. It always does. I don't know where it is. All right, well, ultimately what you wanna do,
my board.
I don't know if we did a board for you.
You did a board for me.
I did a board for you, exactly. Yes. So let's see where it is. I try to delete boards.
Is this interesting, guys? Do you find this helpful? What we're doing, at least helping you define, is this something that at least allows you to think a little differently? Put inside, any questions, by the way, put inside the chat, so at least we can see what you're thinking, because we're going to start taking questions.
I don't know where your board is,
Okay,
but let's go into Ryan Paulson's board. His is actually really good. So here is someone, he's one of our awesome clients from South Africa. He went ahead and created this board. He pinned things that were exciting for him. He loves these kind of activities. He loves hats, and you'll see that the colors are very consistent as well. So it's this blue color. You'll see this yellow color. It pops in again, white. You'll see green come in, and this sort of reddish tone.
Do you have polls in here?
No, I deleted his board. It's been too long. Some of these boards I do, and I have to get rid of them, otherwise my Pinterest will be too full. But yeah, so you'll see that he's so here's that green. He has this beautiful gray. He has splashes of red and yellow. And it keeps appearing over and over again. Plus that sense of adventure, that sense of upscale casual. So he likes to wear jeans with like knit sweaters. He likes to have a little bit of a preppy look, but still a bit casual. Things that are a little bit sophisticated. And he wants to incorporate his animals into his life, into his images, and some adventure. Now, he does do travel adventure stuff. That's his business. So this works beautifully for him. And you'll see colors they pop in consistently throughout the board.
Okay, so this is where I want to go now. We got a bunch of questions that are popping up. Let's go first. Alex, I'm going to unmute you. Let me go to Alex. Alex, what's your question for Sandy? Alex K, you've been unmuted. From my end, at least. Now it's your turn. Come on.
Oh, there we go. I have to click the 2 buttons. Hey.
Go for it, Alex.
Hey, I just wanted to say, like, when we do this, how do we make sure that it's not our old image? Because some of us are pretty well entrenched.
Yeah.
In terms of, I've done similar exercises before. I just want something new. It's
okay.
It's 2020 and we're kind of getting into the 21st century for once, at least. That's kind of how I feel. You know, things are changing.
So that's
image change too.
Really important to, when you're pinning things, pin things that when you see it, you love it. Not things that when you're like, yeah, that kind of looks like what I already have, or that's what I want to be. I don't really like it. So you can think outside of the box. And the more you start doing, when I had showed how you pin a pin and then you look what's underneath it as the other options, it'll give you new ideas. So for my brand, I didn't expect to pin a girl with a big bubble gum. Like, that was the furthest thing from my mind. But when I saw it, I go, I love it. I love the playfulness of the shot. I love the energy. I love the colors. And
Audrey Hepburn, right?
It was very Audrey Hepburn. And it's funny because Audrey Hepburn was one of the original things that I pinned in my original branding back in 2016, where I had the shot of me in the black turtleneck holding the camera. That was very Audrey Hepburn inspired. Well, it stayed because something about her personality and her bubbliness and her playfulness is who I am. So I connect with that. So when you're looking to pin, don't think, okay, I need to make this completely different from who I am now, because who you were represented as now might not actually be who you are. So just go through, pin things that absolutely speak to you. When you see them, you light up, you love them, they make you smile, you're, I love this. You might just pin all puppies. That might be it. But you'll find a common denominator that'll pull those colors together.
Lawrence, do you have a question, Lawrence? I saw you unmuted yourself. Lawrence?
Oh, actually, I'm really loving this. I'm curious how you transfer this to the big piece of paper or the bigger sheet.
You know, there are different tools that you can use that'll help you create mood boards. I'm a Photoshop queen. I've been using it since 2000.
Yeah, but there are tools. Do we know tools there?
You know, there's so many different tools. There's
but we look for mood boards. Is that what we do?
They specialize in mood boards. You can do them. I can't think of the name of them. I used to download them, but I found for me, because I am using Photoshop so much, that it's so much easier for me than using the tools that are out there. But
actually, just type in mood board maker, and there's a bunch of tools. Some of them cost as little as $1 to $2. Other ones are pretty sophisticated, but it's going to give you an opportunity to start to use all those images, and you export them into this, and it starts to find the commonalities. Now, how often, mood board maker, how often do we do this?
Yeah, well, I did mine almost 2 years ago. And then when I did it again, the only thing that changed was my intentionality of having more playfulness in my shots. And I was fairly consistent for the past 2 years.
Women seem to understand what their personal brand direction, they at least initially think they do, because it's colors that they're drawn to.
Yes.
Us guys are kind of lost. We wear whatever our mate gives us.
Yeah.
Okay? And they may not even know what it is. So like Simon just popped on here. There's Simon Mannering.
Hi, Simon.
So Simon, hey Simon, I'm going to mute you. Can you unmute yourself? Actually, Simon, there he is unmuted. Hey Simon.
How are you?
Simon wants to actually announce something too, because his new podcast just came out today. I know that, right?
I am excited about it, but I loved what you were just saying then, Sandy, and as someone who's in the branding world and spent a lot of time working with executives on the branding side, on the strategy side, one of the things you said is really important, which is we've really got to get out of our own way. You know, if you really want to step into your authentic identity, we're often our own worst enemy. We retreat to our heads. We try and rationalize to find safety by thinking it through. But instinctively, you know, when you see something you love, you like, and you've got to kind of, you know, suspend that instinct for self-control and just really bring together all of those things that you just instinctively love, and a whole new you or a whole new identity will reveal itself. And only when you externalize yourself by doing this mood board will it be thrown into relief so you can see it.
Exactly. Exactly. So it's just listening to what your instinct is telling you. What lights you up when you see it? That's the best way I can explain it. The moment you start overthinking it, well, I've had red, or I love red, or someone said red's my color. That's actually the worst thing you could do. Listening to another person tell you what is true to you and just going with that and not actually feeling, does that feel good to me? And is that true?
And so, I think what you're saying, Sandy, is so true. The more you do it, the more confident you feel about being yourself.
You need to do this, Simon. You need to go through this process yourself.
I need Sandy's magic. I mean,
You've done the same thing for the last 15 years since I've known you.
I know. I have no imagination. I don't know how to throw 3 pieces of clothing together without my daughters rolling their eyes. I believe me. But no, you're kind enough to mention, Ken. You know, I come from the branding world, and we help folks really think through how they grow their business by doing good. And we work with companies like Tom's and Virgin and Timberland and others, and also solopreneurs and startups. And Ken, I've known Ken and Sandy for some time, and we've launched a podcast today called Lead with We, which is all about how you build your personal brand, your company brand, by really being of service to the collective interest. So if anybody's interested, I can put it in the chat box.
Put it in there.
You can check it out. But thanks for mentioning that, Ken. I appreciate it.
Oh, lead with we. I love the name, by the way. I'm
Yeah.
all about the we, which will be
Yeah.
another conversation soon. But Simon, thank you
Yeah.
so much for hanging out with us.
Yeah, and I love what Sandy's doing. I've got to tell everyone, you know, as someone who does a lot of speaking on stages and so on, 70% of the impression you make is through your body language and how you show up. So win the battle before you take the field. Work with Sandy. Get yourself, you know, find that alignment between who you are and how you show up, and then you're so much ahead of everybody else. I can't recommend it more highly.
Thank you, buddy.
Thank you.
Yeah, we talk about this whole idea of IQ, having a high IQ and, of course, a huge EQ, that emotional quota. You want to connect those. But remember, you also have MQ, your moral quota, how you actually treat one another and how it comes back. And then you also have your BQ, your body quota, how you present yourself, how you dress, how you handle that stage. And we have a tendency to forget about that body quota. How many people do you see, and I was one of them, that goes onto a stage, has a nice suit on, and is wearing gym shoes, or just old shoes,
true.
or something that looks comfortable. Christopher said, oh, I like to dress in the comfort. That may not necessarily be the best. So we want to make sure that you are dressing the proper role. And if it is gym shoes, everything has to match that. It can't just become, oh, I got comfortable shoes on because I'm on stage. There are some nice, comfortable shoes that look good too at the same time. So let's go after other questions. Let's go to Sani. You have a question? Sani, just unmute yourself, buddy. There you go.
Hi.
Hey, buddy.
Hello.
Hi, Sunny.
Hi. So love what you're saying. And I've been using mood boards in my line of work as a communication tool to understand what our clients need in terms of user experience. For instance, when we build tech startups, different types of software apps, for instance, to understand the color schemes and the style and the tone. So to me, it's a communication tool. And a question earlier, what if I'm using mood board just to reinforce my preconceived style, the style that I already have, instead of discovering a new style for me? So my question to you is, do you agree with that notion that it's a communication tool so your client can talk to you to communicate to you how they want to be seen on camera, for instance, versus Christopher picking his clothing by using mood boards?
Real quick, I just want to tell me if I'm right on this.
Mm-hmm.
First, the way you put us into Pinterest is to actually circumvent us to think the way what we think we want.
Correct.
That was the first thing. So you don't want to reinforce it. You want it
Yeah.
to come out naturally, like it did with you.
Yeah, because you might find that your reinforced preconceived idea of you is what's holding you back, because you're showing up as a way that's not authentically you, and people see that. So if you have that, why isn't someone working with me the way that I want? Why aren't things going exactly as I need? It could be that you aren't being who you really are on the inside. So you need to get more creative. And so when you go in to do your mood board, don't go in to stick to a fixed concept of who you think you are and what you've done. That's why I said, be very intentional with, what do I love here? What do I love? And pin over 100. If you could do 200 pins, awesome. Because the more pins, the more you're going to start to explore and pin things that you never thought of before.
It's funny because I know why Simon's saying this, because he likes to dress in suits. He likes to, and all of a sudden he's going to do all these these boards, and he's going to find out he should dress like a cowboy or something like that. He goes, no!
Never know. You might like for example, Glenn Jimenez. He
I love this.
ended up buying an iridescent green suit. He never would have thought of buying that.
It looks awesome.
But it looks so tailored and so suave. And he actually doesn't even wear it together. He doesn't wear the jacket with the pants. He wears the pants with something else. So he has created this unique look that feels creative and artsy, but still high-end and sophisticated, because his brand and his business is high-end and sophisticated. But now he has a look to match. So when people go to hire him and they see him and he's a little edgy, but it still looks really high-end, they don't doubt that he can do a really quality job for them. They go, you're the right guy for me.
Mm-hmm.
So whatever it is for you, stop thinking of what you are. Start thinking about what you love and design something that's completely new for you. Because when you show up as such, people are going to go, you know, this guy's got some style, and there's something about him. I can't quite place it, but I feel comfortable and I'm intrigued by him and I want to learn more.
There you go. Any other questions, guys? I want to make sure everyone gets, because Sandy did give you a big project to go after, and that is you to tackle yourself. So any other questions, pop them in here. What is Christopher's next big step for the retired, soon-to-be 37-day fireman from now?
So the next step for you, Christopher, is I'll send you that board so you can go in there and continue it. But pin different things. So pin clothing, pin attitudes. So if there's a picture of a man that's laughing and you love the way he's laughing, you're like, I want to laugh like that. Pin that, especially if it makes you happy.
So emotions.
Emotions, feelings, energy. Pin locations, vacation spots, homes, places that you want to spend your time. If you don't ever want to spend your time in a living room, but you only want to spend it on a yacht, then pin yachts. If you love a specific type of car that you would love to be seen in and drive around in and enjoy and get your hands on, pin that. So pin things that you can see in your life that you would just smile and make you happy with.
So how do you do something also? Let's take Harak. Harak is a young guy.
Yeah. Hi, Harak.
He's trying to, I see that he challenges his own fashion often. You wear very different things, from hoodies to tight stuff to show off your physique. I have a sense that you're trying to figure out exactly what your brand is. Am I right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So
yeah.
An excellent exercise for you.
I use Pinterest quite a bit. Actually, my most recent tattoo, I was on Pinterest for, I don't know, hours on end, putting together all the elements, because there's an entire storyline behind the artwork that I got on my arm. So yeah, I'm very, very familiar with Pinterest, and actually I'm on it right now doing everything that you're saying. So it's
I would love to see our boards. It'd be so damn cool if we all could start sharing our boards together to see what they look like. Because I'd like to see what Lawrence's is compared to what Bill's is. You know, it just, Sani, like I said, you actually might be a Western cowboy. Who knows, from Westworld? I don't know. I'm just saying, you might be shocked.
But you know, also
and you have tried for 8 years to change my style. It's not gonna happen. Sorry.
See, that's what I'm saying.
I think it's gonna happen.
I
personally challenge you. I will help you with your board because I know it's gonna happen. You would be surprised. You're gonna find haircuts that you never thought imaginable. You might find a picture of a guy with a shaved head that you're like, well, I love that. And you might just shave your head. You don't know what it could be.
Guys, can I tell you something? The mood board made me change my hair from blonde. So I got rid of the blonde because
it was chicken fat yellow. I'm just saying.
And the way it's not styled right now, it was. And the way I started, because I saw myself as a fat guy all the time because I was fat. I was big. So I dressed like a frumpy fat guy all the time. So to see my mood board, it allowed me to start to see me in the way I wish I could have saw myself. But I needed to see it subconsciously by not suggesting what I needed to wear because of what I've been doing in the past.
Yeah, otherwise it would be a bad board.
Yeah, it would have, if I knew the purpose behind what I was doing. So I want you to use this as a way to not redefine yourself, but really to define yourself, to move in that direction. And I'm, hey, Bill, Bill, Ryan, I want to say the beard's looking pretty freaking good. I'm just going to say, Bill.
Yeah, it does.
Bill,
I was going to ask you, I'm moving in this direction and I've been putting it out there. I mean, what do you think? I haven't had a beard since I was a kid. So what do you think?
I like it a lot.
I love it. It looks great.
Bill's one of my closest friends. Every decade, for his birthday, actually last 2 days, first decade when he was 50, we went and shared Rome together. We had a huge party in downtown Rome. On his 60th birthday, Bill and I, we gallivanted out to Beijing, and we did an amazing trip. Now that he's 70, in October.
October 15th. Now, the big question is, where the hell are we going to be able to go on October 15th? Bali, I think.
Marrakesh.
We'll see if they let us in. The EU just announced the EU is in the process of saying if you're from America, they won't let you into the country.
Oh, I don't know. How about America?
That was just in the news today. So we have to think of alternatives that are doable.
We'll figure it out. How about Marrakesh? Do you like that idea?
I've never been. I'd love to.
Okay. So that is today's Sandy and Ken Hour. I hope we enlightened you on something to start to check out and to look at. Of course, you can get a hold of us anytime. We're always available. Sandy's on the portal also. Her and Jennifer are the only two girls that are on the portal.
Yeah.
Connect with her. She looks at those emails. But I hope that this was helpful. And I want to thank you guys for making yourself vulnerable and available. And Sandy, thank you so much for just being here.
Thank you. I enjoy it.
Everyone, thanks a lot.
That was awesome. Thank you.
We'll see all
Thank
of you
you.
guys later.
Thank you for doing
Go to
this.
Fiji. Fiji.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.